Welcome everyone to another edition of On Your Own Movie Reviews. Are you sick of remakes, reboots, repurposing, movies like that? Well, today's movie is kind of interesting because it kind of is a reboot, but it's not a reboot of a movie, it's a reboot of a TV series from the 90s. Coming out this weekend will be none other than a spoof of a show that wasn't that funny to begin with, that tried to take it seriously, and none other than Baywatch. Baywatch is a story, it's a 2017 reboot, repurposing, whatever you want to call it, of the 90s show of the same name, done by Seth Gordon, starring Dwayne Johnson. I would say what his alter ego's name is, but I'm not looking to get sued. I'll get into that when I start talking about him. Also saw starring Zac Efron, which I believe this is the first movie I've ever really seen him in. And what it is Zac Efron's character is trying to get on the Baywatch team crew, and because he's a disgraced former Olympic gold medalist 2 times. Take that, Kurt Angle. And Dwayne Johnson is taking his job super seriously, and he says, you cannot join because you're not going to take this seriously, and being a lifeguard means a lot more than being a lifeguard. This is a fairly absurd movie because it takes itself way too seriously at times, and then at other times it's kind of lighthearted. It's kind of a disjointed movie like that, but it's kind of fun all at the same time. So what it is Dwayne Johnson's character, and by the way, I will not be saying his wrestling ego's name because in case anyone has noticed in the marketing, they don't use it. It's because he doesn't own the rights to that name. And this is done by his production company, who will also be doing the Jumanji remake. Roll eyes here. That will be coming out in about a year or two. So we have more to look for from this production company. Dwayne Johnson is completely likable in this role. Well, at times he does come off as a military sergeant, and he's the butt of many jokes, as well as he plays his wrestling persona basically in this movie, because he has to come off as very strong and stern, but at the same time he has to give off one-liners and quick kibbles towards Zac Efron characters, and they really work. They really do. There's a lot of funny gags. Matter of fact, I think 20 minutes into the movie, he's referred to as 5 different superheroes. He's referred to as Shazam, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, and in the opening scene, as soon as the movie starts, he has spider senses. Yeah, that's in this movie. But they're all kind of fun, and it's supposed to be. I would characterize this as a movie that's a parody of a TV show, but at the same time very fun in its own right. Zac Efron character is this disgraced 2-time gold medal winner, because I won't ruin why. It's kind of a cheap joke why he's disgraced from the Olympics, but it leads to his character, and he's the one who actually has the most arc in this story, in this movie I should say. And he's actually best when he's being the foible to Dwayne Johnson's character. For about 2/3 of the movie, you know, every time Dwayne Johnson gets super serious and say, this is what we do, we're lifeguards, if you see someone getting arrested, go for it, you have to stop them, we patrol these beaches. And every time he says that, and he goes, alright, Zac Efron character, what would you do? Zac Efron gives the answer any of us would say, call the police. call this, call anyone else. We're just lifeguards. We're here to help people from drowning. That's about it. He's kind of funny when he does it. He's a lot funny because he's just playing the opposite side of Johnson's character. The problem is, in the second half, when he kind of sees the light and changes into Johnson's character, he's not as fun anymore. That's what I would have to say. I have to give a lot of props to the cast in this. A lot of them are very good. Probably my standout star in this is none other than John Bass. I've never seen him in a movie before. He's the fat kid. He's the kid who gets a lot of jokes at him just because of his weight. But he's really funny, especially in the first half. And matter of fact, going towards the end of the second act, beginning of the third act, you kind of miss him because they're getting super serious and it makes no sense. But when he's in it, he is a lot of fun. The main villain in this movie is a famous Indian actress by the name of, and if I butcher this name, I don't get it. Priyanka Chopra. She's a pain in this movie. Actually, she's kind of a hindrance because they want her to be a joke in this movie, but at the same time be serious. And it kind of doesn't work, especially when the first time you meet her and they say, oh, you know, she explains out her plan. Oh, her introduction is awful. It is such an exposition dump. You find out about her parents, her brother, why she's doing what she's doing, and more or less her whole character motivation in literally 2 minutes. And it's all her telling you it. So her introduction wasn't too good. And she basically says out at one point in the movie, oh, I'm not a Bond villain. But by the end of the movie, you kind of look at it and go, you are a Bond villain. And it wasn't funny. There's a lot of funny stuff at the beginning. This is a raunchy movie, and not raunchy in the way you would think. There's actually, I give credit for this, there's no fart jokes. There is a lot of lowbrow humor and a lot of cursing, but at least the quips Dwayne Johnson gets in, they're very funny, especially when they're aimed at Zac Efron. Very funny. The kid who plays Ronnie, always funny in his awkwardness towards the lifeguard that he likes, CJ Parker. So yeah, and you know, she kind of plays it straight. The rest of the cast is completely forgettable, and you kind of just go, I know you were introduced, but I don't remember who you are, and you really don't serve a purpose to this movie other than be another person. The beginning is probably the first act to the middle of the second act is probably the best act. With the introductions, there's a lot of fun at Dwayne Johnson's expense. Zac Efron's character gets a couple laughs. Ronnie gets a lot of laughs, and even towards the end, he gets even more laughs. Problem with this movie, though, is when it gets to midway through when it gets midway through the movie, and they try to get too serious, it becomes either A, unbelievable, or 2, you just feel like you stepped into an action movie instead of a comedy. And then it kind of loses it kind of rolls into the realm of absurdity. That's what it kind of feels like. You know, this is an R-rated movie, and it got the R rating not only because of the curses in it. This is a movie, if you would have saw it in the 1980s and you would have saw R rating, I guarantee you'd have been seeing tits every 5 minutes. But because this is the year 2017, and I call this, I think 9 hours before I saw the movie and I saw it was an R rating, I was saying, I guarantee you I'm going to see a man's penis on screen. And I was absolutely right. In a scene that really isn't that funny and it goes on a lot too long, there is someone's junk on the screen. So there goes something for the ladies. Also, a lot of the jokes don't land in the second half. In the second half, because they border on insanity, and the movie just trying to be something that it's not. So it has that working against it. Also, the logic in this movie is terrible. There are scenes where the main characters, the good guys, are committing villainous acts. And you just sit there and go, alright, the cops got you. This is the end of the movie. You're going to jail. Or either that or we're going to see a jailbreak movie. And the cops just let him go. Matter of fact, there's one point where there's a dead body on the beach. The Rock not only calls that he's dead, he calls the time of death. No EMTs around. Not one freaking doctor to be seen. And everyone's just like, okay. At the end of the day, this movie is not terrible. It's not the 13% it's on, or 12% on Rotten Tomato. Not at all. This is a dumb, fun, enjoyable way. At the beginning, you'll have a lot of laughs. The end, when they try to take themselves too seriously, you'll kind of get either turned off by, or you'll kind of go with it as a dumb action movie. So you'll take it as that. But as far as the movie goes, I give it a 5. It's not worth full price. I saw it for free. I saw it at a premiere screening. It's not worth the full price. If you can go see it in matinee, go. You'll have a laugh or two at the beginning. Go to it on a Tuesday where you can get discount theater prices. Other than that, wait for it to come on TV, Redbox, something where you can rent it for anything other than the $16 or whatever the movie is. Prices around where you are. Dwayne Johnson kind of carries this in a lot of ways with his charisma and his ability to be very serious. You know, this is definitely his wrestling persona in its best, without having him go too long. This definitely is not 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's just my opinion, though. And like I said, I give Baywatch a 5. And for those of you who do like the show, there are cameos by the Hoff and Pamela Anderson, and that's not a spoiler because they're in the opening credits. So if you can, see it cheap this Memorial Day weekend. If not, wait for it to come on HBO, Showtime, or do it on Redbox. That's all I have to say for today. Goodbye, until next time.